Hello everybody, my name is George, and in this video I will be talking about my integrated case analysis. In this analysis I will be talking about taking the service of adding ports in the Arctic. Now if you have the PowerPoint presentation, please feel free to follow along. First, looking at the first slide, which is the executive summary, we're looking at the retreating ice caps in the Arctic have opened up a new routes for shipping goods across the world. The opportunity sets up the service of ports and shelters. This would be, for example, the ports in San Francisco and in San Pedro here in California. Of course, we do need to consider the geographical considerations. What that means is it is a geography that is constantly changing, and we need to take a look at it and make sure we don't do much harm to it, and where specifically these ports are going to be set up according to the new routes that will become available as the ice is melting, as the ice melts and creates these new transit routes. Boundaries. These boundaries, they defined what part of the Arctic who has sovereignty over these parts. For example, as of right now, there are 5 main nations, and which include the Russian Federation, the United States, Canada, Norway, and Denmark. These nations, they have sovereignty of about 200 nautical miles adjacent to their coast, meaning they're able to they have a say in what's going to happen with the Arctic, how it's going to be, how its resources are going to be used, and etc. They have a say in how things are going to go about distributing. Other countries are able to make a suggestion, or for example, China, which I'll be talking about later, they want to be part of it. As of right now, they have only focused on the research and the climate change, but in recent years they changed their mind, and they are looking at the commerce possibilities and what resources can be attained from the Arctic and stuff like that. Moving on to next part of the executive summary, which is there is a need for the service, since there is nothing out there at the moment. These routes, they're doing studies, research, but they haven't really began navigating these waters. But it's only a matter of time before these routes are open for transit. It will happen, it's coming, and it's something that we need to be ready for. Moving on to the organizational overview. This will lower shipping costs by using the new Arctic routes, meaning that ships won't have to take the long route through the Panama Canal and other longer routes that will take both time and money. This will actually cut most of the traveling in half for many, or even more. These ports will offer shelter as well as repair stations in case the boats get damaged because of the ice, etc. There could be these ports where they are able to repair small damages to the vessels. As far as the organization structure, it would have to be a horizontal differentiation, not really one nation can be or is under control. Amongst the nations involved, they need to be able to oversee and have a say in how things are going to happen in order for there not to be any conflict. Moving on to the global alliance strategy. like I said, it's not a country, and I want to read something about a citation by Peters. The Arctic has a variety of physical, geographical, and ecological characteristics which may lead to different definitions of the Arctic region. Moving on to sovereignty. It creates the opportunity to create joint ventures, uh, which the strategy itself is that of a joint venture. This would have to we would have to go in as a joint venture with either other investors that want to invest in the area or nations themselves. Of course, the good thing about doing a joint venture would be the lower costs. The lower cost to start up, the lower cost to establish everything, and the lower risk. The risk is lower because not one particular party will be putting up all the money. It will be distributed, or yeah, amongst others. So therefore, the risk as well is distributed. The entry this uh, for this project would have to be during the month of September. September and the following months, which are considered the summer months. That is when there is less ice in the waters, and it'll be easier to navigate the waters. Otherwise, there's other months it's not possible unless there's ships which are called icebreakers, and they literally do just that, as you probably saw in the beginning of the slides of the videos. If you get a chance to look at those, they pretty much explain what an icebreaker is, and they have footage of the first icebreaker navigating the waters. I performed the SWOT analysis on this project, and one of the strengths is of course financial rewards. Getting products delivered faster, moving more products quicker obviously produces more GDP for not just us but other countries as well. Higher GDP is always a good thing. New opportunities. By new opportunities, it can it's endless. I mean, there's so many opportunities that can come from this, from financial gains, as I mentioned, or even just other nations getting together and being able to craft out the plan and decide how things are gonna go, and being able to just work together. It's a great thing. The weaknesses, not able to be 100% in control. That's always a drawback. We won't have 100% if we do the joint venture. Technology may be compromised. That's another downfall. If the technology used falls in the wrong hands, it could be a bad thing. Opportunities, as I mentioned before, the nations getting along. The rest of the world will be watching these nations, these five leaders, getting along and getting things done that will affect us all, really. And the threats, of course, is pollution, polluting the Arctic waters more than they probably already are. We need to be careful about that. With the human resource management, the leading nations need to determine what is right and wrong. The basic ethical principles amongst those involved. Everyone should be held accountable for their actions. Moving on to the leadership and motivation, communication principles, getting the message across in a clear and respectful manner. Misinterpretations can lead to unwanted outcomes. So it's very easy to misinterpret things and get things mixed up, and that could be bad business. Some of the concerns are, of course, as I mentioned, pollutions. Here's another citation by Peters, which is the melting glaciers, reduction in extent and thickness of sea ice, thawing permafrost, and rising sea level are indicators of recent warming in the region. Climate change affects us all, and it's happening faster than the experts had anticipated. The animals have also been affected, and are forced to change their migratory routes. Now, talk about the icebreaker ships. They will extend the seasons of transit, meaning longer navigation through the Arctic waters. Now, moving on to the summary. Um, this is a rewarding endeavor. Shows the rest of the world that the leading nations can get along and handle delicate situations the right way. We talked about the joint venture, decrease in both, which would decrease both cost and risk of such endeavor. Summer months will be the most optimal for transit, as I explained, because of the summer, be less ice. Shipping costs, reduction in cost as well as time. Environmental and living organisms, which would include all living organisms. Well-being must be of utmost concern and priority. Financial rewards will follow. And then the following is my works cited. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy this video.